Thirsty Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. I am the Lilith reincarnated, the High Priestess Phoenix, your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, and most of all, messenger of God. Welcome, welcome. Today's message comes with a very strict warning. If you're feeling sensitive, this is not the video for you. We are in the dark, and we're going to be spitting fire and using a serpent tongue, and I believe you're going to get your feelings hurt. If this message is not for the weak of heart, I'm just going to channel the message, but I assure you that it's going to hurt feelings. I can feel it. I can feel the energy that's in me, and it's a hurtful energy, and I know that the words that will come out are going to hurt the ears of the weak. So, with that being said, that is your warning. That is the only warning I'm giving you. In order to keep up with me, you would have had to seen something in my community page, which was, it kind of was an evolution of darkness that's been happening. I loaded 3 videos last night that went from dark to darker to darkest, and then I had to lights out that darkness. I felt something coming over me yesterday, and I thought it was just the flesh, because I had worn my flesh down, and now it's becoming ugly because the flesh is ugly. And that was exactly what was happening. I was putting the flesh back on. As we get started, let me just tell you this. You are not your flesh. But once you put that thing on, you become all dark. You must learn to work your way through the darkness of this flesh to find your way back to the light. And that is the journey. That is the human experience. We're here to experience all the light and dark of what it means to be human. But when you put on that flesh, you become God. When you take off the flesh, you now must put on the armor of God to protect your soul, because you're just your soul in there. Your soul must be protected. And that's what I teach you, is how to take off the flesh and put on the armor of God, which is to walk in the spirit and not of the flesh, which is nothing more than your thoughts, what you desire, what you think. It's all wicked. That's the devil that you've created. Your wickedness that's inside of you, you have created this entity that you call the devil, and you say it has dominion over your body, and that you pray to God to take away such feelings and such thoughts. But they're your feelings and they're your thoughts, and nobody feels them but you. And you created this outside entity to blame it on and say that it has more power than God. That's untrue. It's untrue. So I put on the flesh, and I've started to become dark. I just, what happened? Well, first off, I saw that, the new tarot reader, or whatever the fuck he is, came in, and he had prejudice and racism upon his skin. So right away I casted him into the darkness of into the light of his skin. What did it mean? He was a Trump. He wore a Trump skin, the skin of supremacy, that of the God, where you can choose. You get to judge. You know right from wrong. You decide what is good and what is bad and what is evil. You decide, and you're all judgingness, and that's it. You became God when you put on the skin, and that's it. We are all gods among gods when we put on the skin. We can be a benevolent God, or we can be a dictator God. It's just how it's choose to be. Now, I started to feel it come over me yesterday, so I casted him. That was one thing, and then it just started to progress where I just became dark in my skin. Up until I made a couple of videos about it where it was, how do you describe it? Very apathetic. Get away from me. Just get away from me. I can't stand your darkness. I don't want your darkness. Get away from me. You disgust me in your darkness. Right? Is what I was saying in those videos, but I did, one of them didn't upload. The other one did. The third one was choppy, and then I just kind of deleted them all because it was just all dark. And then I went to go pick up a couple. It was about 9:30 after the third upload. And I pull up, and I shouldn't have acted like this, but I did. And it's just me and them. And I know how this app works, where you see what my car looks like, you see my picture, you see my license plate. I see sometimes your face, the name, and a little person of where you're standing. So I see that this is you, I am me, you are you. I get out of the car to grab their bags, and the guy, as I'm reaching for the bag, he said, "And you are?" Asking me who the fuck I was, and I snapped crackled and popped off on that dude. I was all, excuse me? He said, and you are? I said, does your app not tell you who I am? That was a silly question. And I said it just like that. And the wife says, there's nothing silly about it. I said, and I set the bag back down, this huge ass fucking pink ass fucking suitcase. And I said, it is. You should know better by using the app. It does it not show you the car, my name, and my face. I do not, it's late at night and I'm not going to start a ride with silly questions. I sat the bag down. I said, good luck with that. And I slammed my trunk and I canceled their ride and I drove off. And I drove around the airport because it was about to give me another one. And I was like, I don't want to do this again. And I just left. And I brought myself home and I put myself to sleep. I was like, that was very uncalled for. But it was idiotic. I had every right to justify the fact that you're a fucking idiot and I don't want to deal with it. If this is how we're going to start the ride, then there's going to be nothing more than idiotic fucking comments coming out of your mouth from here on out. And you are. And you are? Who the hell are you? I'm not doing it. Again, this is going to get dark. I'm in a dark way. So I'm like, oh, wow, that was a little bit much. And I just chopped it up to, bitch, you didn't sleep well. You're just cranky. You're not the same when you're not, So I came home, I forced myself to eat some food, and I forced myself to go to sleep. I slept all the way through the night, and I wake up, and I'm meditating. And look who pops up. Alistair has always been with me. You'll see him throughout all of my videos. Alistair is an avenger of justice for the evil deeders. I've called on him many times when I have a darkness I can't transmute, and it almost my skin fears it. If I fear, I call upon those that, you know what I mean? So I've called Alistair in many cases. Lucifer, we're going to talk about. Azrael, I've never really, no, and no. He doesn't really come into it because he's from a different realm. But in essence, he's here. And we're going to talk about that along with my typical ascending masters. We're in a different place. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I sit there in the energy of Lucifer and Alistair, and especially Lucifer. Who's Lucifer? Lucifer is God's most favored angel, bro. Now, Lucifer was filled with nothing more than pride. That's it. That was the only sin he had until he met me. God created all sin within me, and I unleashed all sin upon man. He created a great, wonderful story, but Lucifer was nothing more than pride, and that's you two in your skin. You get bubbled up in your skin and believe and know that you're God. You're the rap God. You're this God. I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest in the world. I'm all of this. You become God, and you want to reign over, those of authority and those of, underneath you as well. Everybody plays that fucking role. You're a Lucifer. Lucifer is a beautiful energy. You're like, well, what does he look like? He looks like everything that makes you lustful and passionate and desirable. He is the energy, as I am, of desire and love, beauty. Anytime you look at a person and they make you excited, you're either looking at Lucifer or you're looking at Lilith. Those were the creations of God's beauty, right? It takes all form. So, in essence, when you're being prideful, you're being a Lucifer. When you're being wrathful, that's a Lilith. Lustful, that's a Lilith. Vengeful, that's a Lilith. He didn't have those powers. Where in the Bible? He tried to take on God and tried to create his own, you know what I mean? He became California. He tried to create his own country within the, you know what I mean, within the tree. He's like, no, I shall reign over all this. That's you in the industry. That's you at your job. That's you and your family saying that you're the most powerful. I'm the fucking eldest. I am this. Yeah, okay, I am. Ha, Sam, I am. Ha, Sam. Samuel. There's another great husband of mine. Let me talk about these. What is it? It's an energy of that I was attracted to, and therefore he was attracted to, and God created this beautiful attraction. So anyways, he's like, oh, you want to be all high and mighty? I'll give you a place to reign. So he gave him what? Hell on earth. It was no longer heaven once it was tainted by sin. But again, if it wasn't tainted, then it would have just been another heaven, and he created plenty of those. Plenty of heavens. He wanted a place of chaos. He wanted to put all of him in one place. Now, here's where unconditional love comes from. Why are we taught to learn unconditional love for his people? Because his people are him. And when you learn that they are him, you learn to have unconditional love for your God. And you understand what it means to be God and to play God. And that's what it is he puts a piece of him out there, that triggers us, that wants you to forgive them. in essence, forgive God, for this is how he is created and what he's made to create. And that's you. You find forgiveness. The unconditional love is we learn to have unconditional love for them, ourselves, and our God. We understand that it is just, that he is in all things, and it is just a role that we play here on this planet. There's better planets. I'm telling you, they're coming back. And I want to talk about that too. So the retrograde, all the planets, which is an entire energy that we all also inhabitate, has been pulled away from us. He's taken away our birds and our bushes, and he's hid them in a secret place to bring them together. You know what I mean? And that's heaven. He's called all of his angels, all of his planets, all of his everything together where we have not seen them. And now they are about to come back for the final destruction of man. Why? Because he's here to make all things new. All things must die for all things to be reborn. And that is what is upon us. Now, Azrael is the bringer of death. He is that, whatever. I like to see him as Joe Black in that movie. They paint him so beautiful in that. And that's it. I'm just here to escort you to the next place. You shall not fear it. You know what I mean? And I've tried to explain to it what happens. It's just a place where you see the faces and you see your life played out. That's it. Spiritual court. That's it. You just go upon the courts of God and judgment. You know what I mean? And the judgment is the judgment you put upon yourself and what you believe. And that's it. I should have done better. Would you like another chance? And God is forever giving chances. And that's why we've had so many fucking lives. All right. So let's do this. So I'm like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what are you doing here? I'm not in hell. How did you, and Lucifer. Okay, so going back to that, you're like, hold on, I thought you said Lucifer, Russ is Lucifer. He holds the most of Lucifer's energy, but he doesn't harness it because once again, in all that pride, Lucifer had no power and just fell to man. He was nothing more than a man after that. He had lost his wings, he had lost everything. God created him as an angel, but he fell to the feelings of man. So therefore, he should rule over the feelings of man and the prideful. That's it. You'd have no power in such places, which is pride, lust, wrath, vengeance, envy, the 7 deadly sins. He didn't have all of them. I did. I unleashed wrath upon mankind, and it was always I and God who played this game. Let my people go. Let my people go. So here I am, trying to let his people go, and that's it. As far as hell, they were people just like us. We were no longer alone, but he created a whole family out of man and all of them. Anyone that fell to the feelings were part of our family. And watching you suffer, and that's that old saying, misery loves company. We didn't feel like we were casted out anymore because he did it to you, his chosen. We realized that we were all chosen to feel such things. That's it. Well, I learned. A lot don't seem to learn that lesson. So in the sense, I myself was never casted into hell. I casted myself out. I fled the garden. Was never casted out, but I always came and meddled in the garden. And that's all of my lives where I played all of the wives and all of that bullshit. Yes? Yes. Now, going back to it, what are they here for? That's what I was trying to figure out. And then I found something in my book. Which book? This book. Okay, so they're all hidden here. Do we know? I mean, it's all written. We know, we know how it goes down, but we don't know all the details, and they're hidden all over time and space. So I pull out this book, and I'm trying to, I'm like, give me something on Lucifer. There's fucking 75 million pages on Lucifer. But I got to this. This was the first page I pulled. Now, don't ask me what it means. We're not breaking codes, and I'm not reading into all of this. I have no idea what the fuck we're talking about other than the names of power, and it took me to this page. Just this page, and listen to what this says. All right, we could start up here, I guess. Radama, thus, one of the judges of the underworld. Okay, that's Alistair of the underworld. That's what Alistair did, and that's Azrael. You know what I mean? And there's so many, the judges. I'm not part of the judges. I'm not part of anything. I'm part of the family. I just know how it all works and what everybody does, and I'm just glad to be part of it. It's not all of it, obviously. Look at him, too. Fucking pissed off and shit. Stop it. Stop it. Anyways, he was the younger brother of Minos. Now, the only cards I didn't pull should have been my Dante's Inferno. Listen to these words. We've read all of these cards in the Infernos. When do I usually pull those cards? On a Saturday? On a Wednesday? I usually pull out Dante's Inferno. Where are we in our ascension? The dark night of the soul. What parts of purgatory are we working through? Minos, the king of Crete and the son of Zeus and Eupoa, I don't know, who was carried off by Zeus in the form of a bull. Cerberus was the three-headed dog which guarded the gates of Hades. The Styx was the principal river of the underworld, round which it flowed 7 times. Phlegon was another underworld river, made of flames instead of water. Fiat means let it be so, and so does Amen. But Amen is the name of power in itself because Hebrew letters AMN added to the 91. That's why they showed me these number sequences in the back of the book. I'm trying to look for answers. I'm like, what am I doing? Where are we? So in the back of the book, look at all this, right? I know. I was scared of the book. So I start looking through this, right? And they gave me here. We were learning the Kabbalah, right? The Kabbalah is divination used by the Hebrew letters, and it also equaled numbers. They knew what was going to happen. Same as me and the Egyptians, and we used the star alignments and the planets. Every single culture had an outline of how this was going to go down, right? So they showed me this, and I'm like, I'm not learning numerology first thing in the morning. So that's where this weird shit is about to come into play. Again, no, they just took me. I just wanted an answer for today, not all the answers in the world. Okay, so, again, here it goes. AMN added to 91, and Jehovah, Adonai, I guess, also adds to 91. In Greek, Amen adds to 91, and some early Christian manuscripts put 99 at the end of the prayers to signify Amen. Okay, 999, I told you, it's in my books. I can't bring it all out right now, but it's the frequency of Christ. 9 is the frequency of Christ. Always has been. All right. From the powers of hell, the magician turns to the reluctant demon himself. At the sign plus the magician makes the sign of the cross. And here's where it comes in. O thou most obedient spirit, N, period. I condemn thee by the virtue of the power of 3 most dreadful and mighty names of God, Agla plus on and Tetragrammaton plus, into the hands of these princes, Lucifer, Satanas, Beelzebub, Jauconil, I don't know, to the torment in the bottomless pit of hell for the stubbornness, willfulness, disobedience, and rebellion. And furthermore, as Christ Jesus cast devils by the power of his divine Godhead, by the power of Jesus Christ, I cast thee into the tormenting pit of fire and brimstone until the later day of judgment. Except thou be obedient to fulfill my will and commandment in all things, I have or shall ask or demand of thee, without any deceit, falsehood, or delay. In nomi Patris Filii et Spiriti Sancti, Amen, Fiat, Fifi, I guess. Fifi. The author of this process has combined the names of the power of the language which suppresses the sound and clear in the meaning of the incantation would express his will in which he hopes will affect it. Language is one of the supreme magical weapons. Though his use of the language, the magician taps into the power of occult forces or intelligence, intoxicates himself into a frenzy in which his own powers are raised to the highest pitch and expresses command in forceful words. At the back of his mind, there is always an example of a great magical act which the universe was created by the speaking of words. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Ideally, as Eliphas Levi said, in magic, to have said is to have done. And then it goes into all this shit. That's all I got. And then look at that. Abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. Holy shit, right? I was like, what is going on? Right? And then I got into something else. It's traveling real fast. And then I went over here. Number 3, the Black Mass. Our Father, which wert in heaven, the Satanist prayer. The Mass is a central ceremony of the Catholic Church, founded by Jesus Christ himself and revered as his followers for hundreds of years. The Protestant communion served as the basis on it, though they were different from it in some important ways. Because of its divine origin, its long traditions of sanctity, the Mass has been frequently copied, not always with blasphemous intent. Alchemists wrote alchemical versions of it. Aleister Crowley wrote his own Mass of Gnostic Catholic Church, and also a Mass of the Phoenix, to be said by the magician daily at sunset. The ceremonial of Hitler Youth meeting closely resembled the form of a Christian service, with a Nazi flag taking an honored place of sacrament and quotational from Mein Kampf, or whatever. I should know that. Camp. I don't know that word. From Hitler's speechless replacing of Christian gospel, epistle, and creed. As early as 2nd century AD, Saint Irenaeus accused the Gnostic teacher Marcus, an adept and a magical impostor, of what seems to have been a perversion of Mass to worship a deity other than a Christian God. He pretended to consecrate cups of wine and protecting to great lengths of words of incantations, and contrives to give them the purple and reddish color so that the charis, grace in the name of divine thought, was one of those who are superior to all things, should be thought to drop her own blood into that cup. Through this means of invocation, those who are presented should be led and rejoice and taste in the cup, and by doing so, the charis, I don't know. It's not the chalice, because it's with an R, who is set forth by the magician, also flow into them. Occultists, ancient moderns, Christian and non-Christian, have generally accepted the Mass as is a magical ritual of great power. High Mass, okay, I'm going to jump into this. Transformation of bread into water, it's talking about the occult importance of the Mass has been heightened in the fact of Roman Catholics. The implication of the practice of the Mass contains... We're on to something. They're trying to tell us something about... I don't want to read all this, bro. It was always easily distinguished black magic from white. The Roman witch Judge Paulus Grandius, writing about 1525, says that probably not heretical to the Mass, with the intentions of finding out whether one person loves another, because it is an appeal to God for knowledge which God has. If Mass is said to provoke love in another, it is probably not heretical, because God commands us to love others, but in either case enlist the help of the devil. Again, what the fuck is this devil that you seek?
It's your water.
Sacrifice the lamb. I've got to tell you, there's nothing in here with that. There's nothing in there. It's man. Man is the devil. I got to stop right there. Okay, I'm going to give you a description of what they do and kind of bring you up to speed of where this is. It's somewhere in the Bible. I didn't bring my Bible. It's somewhere in the Bible where he unleashes some shit. And it talks about the dragon. Lucifer was the dragon. Okay? But in the sense of, it's not the same as the Antichrist. It's just, you don't understand the story. You see it as an entity outside of God, but it's God and Jesus that unleashes all of this judgment and all of this wrath. And that's because, in all essence, I no longer do it. I surrendered. And therefore, I mean, in all scripture, you'll notice Lucifer does not unleash it. God unleashes the wrath himself, his vengeance himself. And he takes vengeance on those that take wrath and vengeance upon his children with no limit to, you know what I mean? You know, with no prejudice to who they are. Anyone that shall persecute his children are persecuting him, because they are his children, and that's going back to that whole sperm count. Let's talk about Azrael real quick. I turned to Melchizedek, which is the ascension. That's what we're going through. That's Melchizedek over there. It's the last angel, and I want to talk about this, and this is what I'm here to do. Now, in that cantation, I hope you realize I heard it. Let me see if I can go back to it. The ritual magic. Get off of me with the ritual bullshit. It was on page 125. Let me see. Give me a second. 130, 125. It says this. It says, Jesus Christ, I cast thee into the tormenting pit of fire and brimstone until the later day of judgment. Except thou be obedient to fulfill my will and command in all things, I have or shall ask or demand of thee without deceit, falsehood, or delay. And that's it. We are contracted to do this work. We must come and clean up our own mess that we've created and those of our family, those that have inhabited the very essence of our beings. And that's why Lucifer is here, for the prideful. He's here to teach you to put your pride down, as I'm here to teach you to put your feelings, those feelings. That's it. He had one. I had them all. And that's it. He could relate. It was a family created of the dark. Never will he ever put you aside all alone. And that's what the videos I was talking about yesterday. I don't want to be around you because all you are is my darkness. You're nothing more than my darkness. I'm tired of seeing my darkness. I've healed my darkness. I've healed my darkness. And that's where the compassion is. I can see myself in all things, the dark side of me. And that's why it calls to me, your shadows. I can see your suffering and your pain because it is mine. It is mine. Cast it upon, you know what I mean, as the divine. You didn't know such things until I gave you such feelings. Well, I didn't give them to you. God gave them to you, but they were mine before they were yours. And when you're in such feelings, and that's what it calls about, and I teach you in my dark goddess, when you're in those, there's a specific part of the dark goddess that's going to come and torment you and make it worse so that you feel it more. And that's what the hell is. We don't make you feel that way. We revel in the fact that you feel the way that we have felt and that you are being punished same as we are. And we're all fucked over right now until we learn our lesson. And that's what it is. Let's learn our lessons and get out of here. You don't have to suffer anymore. I suffer with you, but we don't need to keep suffering. And that's what the whole story is. So right now, why are they here? To avenge, to walk in the light. And that's what I posted. I said, we're not in the dark. The dark has come to the light. And that's how I saw the ending always. As us in the dark walk through the light. We don't transform into wearing white. We are the dark in the light. The dark in which you hide from. The dark in which you flee. And the light is here with us. We are not casted out into a dark place, but we are here in the light for all to see. And that's the sin. That's the darkness. Me in a human form and many others. I show you. The dark can still be loved. The dark is still of God. The dark is you and me. And you are of the dark as much of the light. And you must harness this darkness to walk through the light. So, those of the dark have come here to help me walk you through the light. Right? Right. Let's talk about Azrael. We're jumping ahead. We were only a couple cards away from him. I think we're on like 14 or something. So we're at number 18. And that's it. Where are we in the tree of life? We're with Azrael. Do you know when Azrael was, created and who he is? And that goes back to, we're in the transitions. And that's it. All right, let me get back to it because Raphael is part of the same home. It's the angels of the green ray, pale, dark green. It's the universal heart, the center of the chest. Unconditional love, equanimity, belonging, surrender, higher perspective, emotional and physical healing, transitions. Right now, you need an emerald, a malachite, fluorite, green amethyst, aventurine, and moss agate. Where are they all? I have most of them in here, and then I put them in my other bag. Remember, I brought all those stones to show you those stones and give them to you. Essential oils is mint and peppermint. Easy enough, guys. Do you have peppermint? Can you start chewing on some? Can you start putting it on you? Can you start breathing some? The star constellation is Andromeda, the daughter. And for those that know the sigils. Okay, let's talk about him. Known as the angel of death, Azrael isn't all that scary as his name suggests. In fact, it is perhaps the kindest and gentlest of the angels. That's it. Go see that movie, Meet Joe Black. Just like the mysterious cloaked guardian leading the way across the treacherous bridge in this card, he is associated with bringing comfort and reassurance in times of intense transition. Azrael not only guides souls that are crossing over, and that's it, we're dying. Our lives... Did you hear my stomach? Wow, it sounds like thunder. I've eaten. I'm not dying. I mean, we're dying. We're dying to the flesh. So many ego deaths. It must die. The brain must die. And it must walk in the spirit. And that's where it is too, is my brain's starting to program. It's starting to understand what I've told it. But we're dying. Literally, this is the season of death and decay where we will change. Our lives are over. We must have new lives. And that's my life. It's so dead. It's so dead. Dead and gone. All my connections, all my relations, everything. They're just memories that I deal with as they come in. Just files, just, you know what I mean? They're like missing persons cases. Like, what happened here? Let's solve this case real quick. And then we file it away and it never happened. Azrael not only guides souls that are crossing over, he gently separates the soul from the body and death and sets it into a free spirit. And that's what I shared yesterday. I was trying to describe what was happening to me, and I found this post on Instagram that said it was a soul, what did it say? Walkout, where a part of your soul must leave now. It's done. It's come here to do that part. And that's what it means to take all of your incarnations into one. Do the work of that incarnation, and now it may lay in rest. Always there, dormant within you, just like your teen you. Whenever you want to be a teen, it can come out and be teen you. But it doesn't have to be absurd teen you that nobody likes. It can be the fun teen that everyone likes. Do you know what I mean? And those are the parts of you. There goes my stomach. Do you hear it? Oh my God, what's going on in my body? The energy, I couldn't get it out. I smoked a million cigarettes. I was like, I can't get this out of me. I can't get this out of me. Okay, if I can't get it out, what is it? And I started looking for answers. Let's see. He separates the soul from the body at death and sets the spirit free. But he also gives guidance and reassurance to those in the counseling professions. And that's just it, is like that part of me. I was trying to explain it to the twin flames. The part of me that came for you, that came to heal with you, that needed to talk to you, that needed this time with you, that I needed to learn from you, has now left me. I still feel for you. I still have it, and that part still lies within me, but I'm not working through that part. And that goes back to my queens. I'm embodying my empress. But in the same sense, right now, I'm in my Lilith. I had to become Lilith. I've told you since the beginning, I'm Lilith reincarnated. Like Raphael, Azrael can help your heart to heal in times of loss, grief, and hardship. He is especially present during bereavement. Azrael can help you release the worries about lost loved ones and can also act as a messenger, delivering you words and wishes to the loved ones on the other side. He lets us know that there is much more to life than purely human existence, and that we still have much to learn beyond the grave. He reminds us that rather than human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. In this way, perhaps Azrael could be better described as the angel of everlasting life, rather than the angel of death. And that's it. He's in your death. He's come to give you new life. Ask him, and that was Kelly too. It's like, I can show you God's, the masculine version, the angel version. I can show you in all places in time how this is the time. Whether it would be me in the goddess form, in an archangel form, in, in whichever form it may be, in the actual seasons, that this is the season of death. And it is the season of transition. That's Kalik. I can show you everywhere. I can show you. Oh, God, the light's still singing at us. Them damn angels. We'll be all dark and dingy down in the dirty. You don't know how we get down in that dirty. Anyways, ask him to help you through personal transitions and wrap his wings around anyone experiencing grief or loss. He'll help comfort and console them so they can find peace. On page 70. Message. You are at a major point of transition. Release all that is currently falling away with love. Remember that after a death, there's always comes rebirth. If you have pulled this card following the loss of a loved one, this message comes as validation that the angels are guiding their way safely through the veil. They're just on to a new life, and you must continue life without them. Do you hear my stomach? Oh my God. It is, It's just a new life. Some of them will actually take another human form, to be honest. Some of them will not. They will guide other lives. They will find another way. Some of them will not come back to do this again. Close your eyes and call upon Azrael, who stands behind you, enfolding you in the softest, silkiest, magical, comforting wings. Feel compassion flowing from his wings into your heart. Although you may feel afraid, Azrael sends his heavenly fire to soothe and reassure you as you bathe in his deep green flame. Your fears are laid to rest. Imagine you are breathing in the sacred fire and receiving a personal attunement into his healing and restorative properties. Ask Azrael to escort you through any transitions you're currently facing. On each exhale, send compassion and assistance to those who are preparing to pass over, so they may arrive at the right place for their soul as they cross through the veil. What happens? Some are scared. They don't want to go back to the light. They're scared of the light. They're scared of God's judgment. So they get stuck in the liminals. Neither here nor there. They're scared. They're scared to meet the Creator. They're scared to go back from which they came. I'm going to cry, but I see Lucifer. I did in the beginning, I did this thing where I was like, I didn't know what was happening, but I was like, they're telling me there's something down there. I got to do this incantation, this voodoo doo-doo. Back then I called it that. It was ritual ceremony. I had everything. And I put his spirit into a stone. And I carried that stone down the mountain. And I placed the stone at Mother Cabrini's shrine. The stone is still there. It's right there by the living water. I placed him to rest, and it was a whole thing. I could see it happening. I could see him crying, and when I placed him there, I could see him next to Gabriel and Michael. It was the most beautiful thing, but it was so intense what was happening, right? He wept because he never could find his way home, and he was scared of home, and that's the demons. You know, you go to do an exorcism on these people, this entity that's within them, and you're casting it out using fear and damnation upon them. You're making them fear their Creator. You're making them fear God, so they rip and scream and cry, holding on to the person, the body that in which they're at, or even on their way to guide their way back to the light. They run and flee, and there's many stories of it. I shared a story in my, about Azrael, and how, who was it? What was his name? I can't remember his name. It wasn't Joseph. It was something like that. And how he tricked him, and, God thought he was so clever, he just let him stay in heaven. He's like, you worked that hard. Go ahead. Give him back his knife, though. And that's God. Okay. But you don't want to leave where you've become home. And that's it. When they put me back at home, I cried. And there's a story in my YouTube. It says, Coming Back to the Light. I realized I was back home, and all I wanted to do was go back to the dark from which I had come. All the people that I called my family. But they are my family in the light. And that's it. Being casted out is yourself casted out, afraid to go back to which you've come. And I'm hearing NF's song and many other songs. It's been so long since I've talked to God. You're afraid to talk to him not because of what he'll say, but what you'll feel. And what do you feel? You feel judgment upon yourself. He doesn't make you feel that way. And that's it. When you go back, you must feel you know what I mean? You must atone, be tuned up is what they would call it. It's like, you look at it with such sorrow about what you've done. He doesn't make you feel bad. You see the truth of what you've done. And you ask him for a chance to come back and fix it. And he gives you a chance. But then you do it again. And you do it again. And he's like, I know you can do it. Go back. Go back. You can do it this time. Some of you won't be able to do it this time. And that's okay. Some of you he'll set free from having to do it anymore. Some of you he'll make you do it somewhere else. Because you really want to get it done. You said you would do it. You wanted to. Before you became a human, you said you would do all these things. I'm going to create a mess, but I'm going to fix this mess. So shall it be? And that's where I am. I'm here to clean up my mess. And, that's why I relate to the sinners in the dark. Because though you think that, Lucifer is your god, I am your goddess. And I'm just trying to get you back to the light, and there's nothing to fear. All we have to do is work through these dark feelings that we put upon ourselves. He didn't put them on us, but we can take them off. On each exhale, send compassion and assistance to those that are preparing to pass over, so that they may arrive at the right place as their soul, for their soul as they cross through the veil. You may also wish to send love to anyone who is suffering of bereavement. Thank Azrael and invite him into a place and place his deep green cloak around you. Rinse off in white light and ground. All right. The celestial soul bridge. There's an incantation and a way to do this. I'm going to stop there. I don't usually do the meditations with you. Many people fear change, even when they do not know what is on the other side of that change. We may realize it, but it is just one lifetime. We can go through many levels of transition. The transition can be subtle and almost unrecognizable. It may be joyful and exciting, or it may be unexpected and even feeling a bit terrifying. When you find yourself in a transition or facing a shift in your circumstances or energy, call on Azrael to soothe the way for you, and imagine his wings lifting you above any stress so you may arrive smoothly on the other side. Staying in the energy of trust can help ensure the highest outcome for you or anyone you are supporting through this transition. I'm still in the dark. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just taking it day by day, task by task. I'm still in the dark, 100%. Let's talk about Lucifer and Aleister. Aleister is, in one hand or another, the most terrifying demons in this book. He is earlier incarnation, all center in brutal, bloody vengeance. And unlike some other demons who evolved from more violent origins, his career in hell remains one of justice and execution. Yesterday we pulled Rama, who was also the Lord of Death. The Lord of Death, the Lord of Death. They're here. But it is worth noting that in many Greek tragedies, Aleister's appearance was that of an avenging angel, not a murderer, but an executioner. Divination on page 11. Beware of vengeful actions. Take care not to let justice bleed into cruelty for the sake of anger. I'm seeing King fucking Chocolate. He said something in his video and I just turned it off and I just wrapped him up in his own fucking bindings. No. He was saying something about, we're going to send all you immigrants and all you illegals back to where you came from. This isn't your place. This isn't your land. Who are you talking to? Therefore, I cast it upon you. May your words be yours. May your words be your future. Is what I did to him. Lucifer. Turned right to him. Page 85. Lucifer appears as a young boy with a pretty face, pretty boy swag. Okay, and that's it, me and my fuck boys. Even when angry, the demon never changes a form that is anything but beautiful. And that's it. That's me too. They love when I'm pissed off. They're like, you are so sexy when you're fucking angry and when you're crying and when you're in your feelings. They love when I'm the most beautiful in my feelings because I'm nothing more than the feeling. The name Lucifer was often used or alleged in the ritual or sabbats of European witches. Lucifer was known to appear in some of these gatherings. In fact, a favorite childlike trick of the demon was to pull witches off of their brooms while they were en route to their gatherings. But after giving them a playful fright, he would carry them on the sabbat on his shoulders. Although Lucifer is sometimes mischievous, he is said to be very strict about justice in hell. Focus on finding sympathy and understanding for those with whom there is no agreement, even enemies. And that's it. We hated the favor that mankind had only to realize that they were treated the same as us, and we were favored by mankind. As much as God favored mankind, mankind favored us. We became their gods. God put man above himself and all things. And we were there, and that's just it. We were also his children. We learned that we were no more than his children, and that's it. It's like, I see Kobe's daughter. It's like, she's just a little girl. I'm just one of God's children. But once I put on the skin, I'm a God among gods. I'm God again. I have to be, don't be a bitch. So that's what's going on. What's going on? I don't know. If I had my Bible, I could probably find it in there. Jesus, judgment, the dark shall rise. There sounds like there's some scary shit upon it. Alistair just takes those of the dark and takes them to judgment. Azrael takes them to judgment. Lucifer sits there and watches you be judged. He doesn't judge you. He doesn't persecute you. We have no such powers. He is your judge. And the jury is the people. We the people. We sit here and we decide as gods among gods whether you're guilty or not. And I'm here to show you to see it as him, that we don't judge, he does. And what does he judge? Your heart, just like ancient Egypt. It all came down to what was in your heart. Were you are wicked of the heart? If you bear no fruit, then you shall be chopped down. Meaning you're not going to keep poisoning the garden. Seeds, bad seeds. It's weed, right? So weed, I don't really grow weed, but I've been told this a billion times. It's a male and a female plant. The buds that you smoke of weed is created after after the female. It's from the female plant. Only the female. Well, both of them do, but only the female plant creates the THC, all the goodness. All right. So you put a male plant and a female plant together so that it can, whatever the word is called, germinate, right? So then it creates buds, and then you have to take away the male plant so that it doesn't have seeds. So that, you know what I mean? Now that goes back to us playing gods and, and Kanye and his test tube babies. Oh, thanks, Kobe. Fuck. They played God. They played God, bro. They forced children upon this world. They forced their seeds to be grown. They played God in a lab. Right? So, in essence, the seeds that bear no fruit shall be burnt down, that were not of God, that were created nothing more of the madness of man. And that's me. If you know my story as the Lilith, she shall bear no children. 1,000 of her children shall die every day. Those of the dark are dying every day. They're dying to their own darkness. He's taking my children. Who are my children? His children. They're not mine, but they're his. They're those of me, those of the dark. And I've come to save as many as I can before he comes to get you. And I tell you all the time, they're going to get you, bro. What are they going to do? They're going to judge you, bro. And I don't know what they're going to do with you after, but I know that you can be saved here now. That's all I can do, bro. And that's who I'm called to. Is who? The dirty, the dark and dirty, the dingy, the sinners, bro. Just like Jesus. We were called to the sinners to get the dark out. Get them out. Get them out. They put on the skin. They're dark. They're dark. They bear no fruit. Get them out. You can either come through the light or you can go through the dark. But you're getting out of here. We're all getting out of here. Why? Because they're destroying it. I'm actually not going anywhere. I'm going to watch the whole destruction go down. I'm here for it. But they're trying to get you out of it so you don't have to suffer through it. And that's it. That's the difference. We're not going to suffer. Those of us that walk in the Spirit, we fear no evil. Because there's no such thing as evil. We know this is God working. What do we fear? Man. As I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I feel no evil. It's man, bro. You are the evil of this world. And he has come to judge you. I hate to be all scary and shit, but there's really fucking truth. It's in all the books. The fuck books do you read? Stop reading Harry. It was even in Harry Potter. Ha ha! Ha! That shit was on the other day, so that means it's probably on all week. I love that shit. In a sense, yeah. Yeah. So I've come for those of the dark, to bring them back to the light, to face their dark feelings, to overcome that which God has given us, which is nothing more than an experience of darkness. Oh, this was a great life. I heard Louis Armstrong. Yeah, it was a wonderful world. But let's let it burn now. In the sense of it must be destroyed so all things can be grown new. Meaning like an amputee. If you don't cut it out, that's like cancer, dude. They treat the cancer, but if they can't treat it, it's going to take your life. What is it? Your wicked heart, bro. And that's why your bodies are failing, because your heart is wicked, and it's actually just like that. It's a venom that spreads through your chakra system, and it has drowned you, and you're soulless. Your soul cannot breathe. You are not you. It goes back to my twin flames. I don't know you, bro. I know your soul. You're soulless. How did you become so heartless? I don't know, Kanye. Look at yourself, bro. You put on the skin, bro. What is it to gain the whole wide world but lose your fucking soul? Mr. Billionaire. Did you do that shit with your fucking wife? You guys are so stupid. That's it. You just want to be gods among the people. But you're nothing. And that's exactly what Lucifer stood for. He was a god among the people. He reigned above the people. You're nothing more than the devil, as they call it. And that's what I was like, they're in the devil energy. What energy? This energy you've created for yourselves. Look at Lucifer. He's like, He was powerless. And what was he powerless to? Love. Because he was beauty and I was beauty. And beauty is Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. There's a great song. Tale as old as time. Yeah, we're from the beginning of time, and we're here at the end of time, and you need to know what time it is. And that's what time it is. And I was trying to figure out what was going on. Ultimately, it's this guy. It always is. It always comes back to him. It's his way and what's happening. But I just didn't recognize why they were here. Like, what are you doing here? Where am I at? What reality have I stepped in? What did I step in today? What did I wake up in on a Thursday? All right, so when is all this popping off? You should know when it's popping off. When does the Antichrist take his throne? Ew. When did the planets come to arrive? When do the avenging angels come? They're already here. And what am I talking about? The whole fucking convergence. This is the war. It's the end. And those of the dark are here to fight with the light. What are we fighting? Mankind. To save mankind. You're like, are you serious? Yeah, dude. What are we fighting? Me personally, nothing. We just have to fight our own feelings, and we can be set free. And we can. All we have to do is set other people free of their feelings. But if they walk in their minds, they're going to walk straight into the fucking inferno. They're all knowing minds. We'll walk them straight into hell. They know, and what their knowing is led by the seven deadly sins. They're led by greed. They're led by power. They're led by dominion. They're led by all of this, by pride, by lust, by envy, by covetousness, by adulterousness. They're led by these things, not by their heart. Their heart doesn't want these things. Their mind tells them they need these things in their life to be all powerful, and that's the fall. And that's the battle that we go upon right now. But it actually, as we do it inside, our inside is a reflection of the outside. The fight of good and evil will happen inside of us, and we will witness it outside of us. If we fall to the evil inside of us, we become the evil outside of us. It's true. I don't know. I didn't expect it. This ain't no Sunday fun day shit. You usually get these kind of terrifying messages of God on a Sunday. That's why I don't read the Bible. I'm like, oh, it's Jesus. Oh, Jesus. He teaches you all good, but he's come to judge all bad. I'm not the judge and jury, bro. I just know them. I'll be sitting in front of them just like you, bro. I've done seen them. The tree of life, the virtues, the principalities, the cherubim, the seraphim, those of the dark, those of the light, those of all creation. Do you know the definition of Lilith? I am that. I wasn't casted out. I am the out. I am the out. I am out. Outside of all. And I'm trying to bring you outside of it. As far as my actual reality, yeah, I don't know. I'm just in the dark like you. I'm waiting for them to get me out. And that's what we were going to do a whole teaching. Where are we at? 53 minutes. I told you we were going to do a huge teaching on patience. Let me see if I can pull some of it together. I don't think I could do it in 30 minutes. But I pulled this out 2 days ago. Where the fuck is that shit? Oh, the Book of Buddha wants to say something. Okay, Buddha. Buddha wants to say something too. He's here too, apparently. The book came out. What do you want to say, Buddha? The way of practical attainment. In the search of truth, there are certain questions that are unimportant. One of the material is the universe. What of the material is the universe constructed? Is the universe eternal? Are there limits or not to the universe? In what way is the human society put together? What is the ideal form of organization for human society? If a man were to postpone his search and practicing for enlightenment until such questions were solved, would he die before he found the path? Wow. Stop asking questions. Those are not, as I said, unimportant questions. All right, I guess. So we had the sleeper card was still in here. Having patience. Sometimes making a snap decision and getting right to work is the best way forward. But on other occasions, like now, patience is key. Patience allows you the time and space to consider the possibilities, make a well-thought-out plan, and carefully implement it. It prevents hasty decisions and impulsive actions you may later regret. Patience can be the most important factor in actually finishing what you start, and the difference between success and failure. Cultivating this valuable trait will help you develop perspective and see the broader picture. All right, now this is a virtue of God. Galatians 5:19 through 23. It talks about the fruits of the Spirit, which are the 7 deadly sins, and then it talks about the fruits of the flesh and the fruits of the Spirit. The fruits of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, kindness, forgiveness, patience, long-suffering. Was that all of them? I didn't list them. And it says, against such, there are no such laws. Meaning if you walk in that, there's nothing that can stop you. You're not going against any grain when you walk in the Spirit. Okay? Without overreacting and enabling you to calmly decide your next step. It may be overlooked or unappreciated as a quality, but in many situations, patience really is a virtue. Time is a precious gift you can give yourself in order to improve skills and learn what you need to know. This card is a reminder that in this situation, it would be wise to wait, watch, and investigate further. Okay, I have to just speak on this. I saw this week going completely different, and it's going completely different. I saw this differently, and right now it is not looking like what I thought it was going to do. But at the same time, something else is happening around me, right? So I told you this week, all I was focusing on was working on my monies to get my trailer. Still totally possible. What did I mean? $500 to $700. All I said is I'll make $500 to $700 this week, and I'll go buy me a trailer. That's it. It can totally still be done within 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 day. Just depends on how I did the days. I saw me doing it all in 1 day. It didn't happen in 1 day. Yesterday, I should have killed it. I only had $100 left to make. So I should have killed off my thing and then started making hundreds, yesterday, today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. I had 4 days, right? And I know it's Jupiter, so I know I'm going to be super blessed today, right? So I'm like, yeah, we're going to stack it up. We're going to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Right? But then last night, I caught this fucking attitude. I made $35 and was like, I'm out. Like, I put myself out. I took myself out of the game because of how I popped off on that person. I just knew that if I put anyone else in my car, I was going to be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. I was a bitch to them. All he said to me was, and you are? And I snapped. I felt it. But I was already feeling it before that. And I was like, the fuck you mean? I didn't say it, but if my words could kill, I killed him, dude. I killed it. And the thought of putting another person in my car when I knew this energy was coming off of me, this don't fuck with me type of energy, I was like, no. I'm not going to make no money like this. I'm going to hurt somebody. Meaning not physically, but I'm going to be rude and I'm going to hurt your vibe and I'm going to be nasty towards you. And I need to remove myself. I'm being nasty. Nasty girls. All right, Janet Jackson, hold on here. Take your time to make a decision and start working on your project. In the sense of, okay, I'm not at a failing point like on page 112. I'm not in a place where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. All hope is abandoned. We're going to give up. No, I had to stop whatever was happening yesterday to figure it out. Now I'm in a place where I'm in a totally different spiritual realm where my material world is not really important right now. So I'm in between the liminals because I can see that the spiritual world is about to infect is about to attack my material world. Those are attacks. Those are these angels and Jesus leading them. This is a battle. There's about to, and we know this, and I said this already. So in the essence is like my whole scenario of what I thought this week was going to look like. It's looking a little foggy right now. Like what the fuck is really happening? And that's it. God will tell you, go this way. He gives you one step, bro. And you just step on that step and you bounce on that step and you jump on that step and you dance on that step until another step shows up. You don't know what the fuck you're doing here. You're just loving the view of this step. And you're going to step in the name of love and until you step out of it. So right now it's like, okay, so the plan was get the fucking RV, right? Get the fucking pop-up. Still possible. But right now they keep calling me for housing. They keep calling me and they keep calling me. So it's like I'm going towards housing, but they're calling me for housing. And my skin says I'm not supposed to go that way. Or my spirit says don't go that way. But it doesn't know which way to go right now because a way hasn't been completed yet. It hasn't been formed for me. So my skin is like, you better go that way because there's no other way to go. But I'm like, there's got to be another way. And here comes Jesus talking about we're about to create something using these guys. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Let me just hold up here. Let me see what I can handle today. I don't know what's going on around me. And that's it, knowing your guides. They're moving. Something's happening, and I'm not part of this, so let me just sit still until they give me a part to play in this. And that goes back to Khalik. They took us out of the game. There's a whole fucking halftime report coming in right now, a whole fucking show that they're going to put on. And then we get to play. But I don't know what we're playing right now. We ain't playing checkers. Absorb information and wisdom before committing. Research more, learn from others, envision how the situation will play out. Is there something you're missing? And that's it. I was like, I see this. I saw it. It's in my Bible, but I don't know where my Bible's at my car. It's like, this has already been played out. I can see, you know what I mean? I can see it not in the physical realm. I can see it in the spiritual realm in the stories that were told long ago. And that's it. We're going through hell, right? They planted it in that description. You're about to walk into the gates of hell. And as we walk in, I have the highest levels of hell with me. But we're not. But we are, because that's what it is. It's hell on earth, the end times. I'm very much in the light, and they're in the light, and that's in the liminal. Your reality is hell, but we see the light of your hell. The gods of hell have come here during the hellish times, is what I see is happening right now. And they're guiding me. Alistair has always been with me. Always. Lucifer was laid to rest up in the garden, but now he's here with me in the hell of the garden. Azrael is the keeper. Like, this is big. That's what I was trying to give you. I was like, whoa, this is big. Give yourself the space to prepare. If you feel overwhelmed, stop for a moment. Take a breath. Rest if you need to. It'll make you more productive in the long run. That's what I've been doing, is lots and lots of rest. Weigh things up. And why? Because I can put myself to sleep and go and find answers. The answers are not in my skin. If I can't find them in meditation, then, it's best. And that's where it is the body is dying. The spirit is rising. And that's it. It's part of the alchemical transformation. I'm seeing it, the vaporization of it, where the spirit rises from there. We'll have to be grounded back into the skin, but we will be grounded in a different spirit. Right? A different part of us will take form so that we can walk through the next part of our journey. Still us, but a different part of us is now taking form because we've jumped into a different timeline. Don't be fooled into thinking it is passive. It has its own unique power. It can help you avoid rash decisions, guard against destructive behavior, and give you the gift of precious time to consider all options and outcomes. And that's what I said this morning. I said, guys, I didn't clear out our money. We're broke right this moment. I was like, but I'm not stressing because God will, dude, last week, He took me till Sunday afternoon before He gave me $1. And I only had Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening. You know what I mean? He gave me only $100 to make it through the week. And I had to pay my phone bill. Hello? Do the math. How am we making it? On a miracle, bro. On God. So that's it. It's like, it's Thursday and I should have had hundreds by today. But then that's how I'd be on a Sunday. That's how I'd be every day. It's like you think that you should have, but you have exactly what you need. Stay still. Don't just fall back onto an excuse when the action is needed. And that's it. The problem is outside. It's people. It's risen in people. It's risen in people. How do I know? When I went to go get coffee this morning, I saw the girl from the last stay that was here that was bothering me. She was bothering me so badly, and I just kept alchemizing the shit out of her. Who was she? She was a woman, dude, that was placed in the room next to me, and there was a lot of drug trafficking that was going on there. So I sit outside. I don't sit in this room. I don't sit in my house. I don't sit in my car. I don't sit anywhere. I'm outside. So I'm outside of my room, posted day after day after day. And they keep getting all this traffic coming into the door next to mine. And every time someone would come, they're like, what's your deal? What are you doing out here? Why are you out here? What, you got a cigarette? You got this? They just kept fucking with me. And she fucking kept saying, why are you outside of my room? Why are you outside of my room? I said, I'm outside of my room. But I didn't want to sink to her level because I knew it was going to lash. So then the last day I was here, one of her fucking people, or maybe even her, because I had my head down and I had I had my fucking hoodie over it. You know, I had my hood over me. And I heard someone saying, hey, you, let me get a cigarette. You got a cigarette? And I had a whole pack next to me and my cigarettes, and I was ignoring them on purpose. Stupid bitch, you don't hear me? And I just kept ignoring him. You don't hear me? Fucking dumb bitch. And then I just grabbed my cigarettes and I walked quietly into my room and acted like I didn't hear them. So now I go this morning to get coffee and there's this bitch. And I sit there and I invoke Azrael, which I've never done. I call Azrael to the kitchen. I don't know why. I've never called for Azrael ever. But my spirit speaks Azrael into this. And that's the speak of life. Your words. I called Azrael. What did I say to him? I don't know. I don't know what I said. I just know. And then I came back and I sat down and I saw Alistair and Lucifer right there with me with my coffee. And that's when I posted it. And that's where I grabbed his card. Why are you here? Why did I call for you? I called the bringer of death to her. Why? I don't know. Did I want her to die? No. I just noticed she was there and I called for Azrael. But I've called for Alistair when there are those that I just don't... I may have called Alistair when they were fucking with me the last time I was here. I'm not going to fight you. God's angels are so much more powerful, and they will rip you out of rip your soul and your body completely away from me and from anyone else you choose to do harm upon. That's not my job. Not in this life. I've played that role as the Kali. And my words can rip your soul straight out of you, and I can invoke any of that upon you. But in this life, and that's the surrender. I don't play God in this life. I play with him. Impatience has been called the happiness killer. It seems to be ruling the world. People want everything right now. An entire TV series to binge. Oh, I know. Did you see what happened on Squid Games? I don't even know what that means. Are there more? Does that mean there's another season? What did you do to me? I can't stand you. Which in the weekend, in constant result for a project designed to be long-term. That's it. I wanted my $1,000 in my pop-up by Friday. It's my money and I want it now. J.G. Wentworth. If it takes too long or requires too much energy, the temptation is to give up and move on. And that's it. God's not answering my prayers. This isn't going to work. It was never going to work. I've got to go. That's fear. That's a lack of perseverance. That's a lack of faith. It didn't work. I always say that with these men. It didn't work. Nothing's working with you. I don't know how to work. I can't do this. I give up on you. Say something, I'm giving. I don't know. And that's the truth. And I told all of them, I gave up on you. I gave up on you. I gave up on you. I told Russ that yesterday. I said, my love was supposed to be strong enough to break you out of it. But I took it away from you. My love is supposed to be strong enough to break everyone out of this. Everyone. I'm nothing more than his love. I'm here to love the darkness out of you. To love your darkness and teach you to love it. As he loved me in my darkness. I'm nothing more than dark. He made me so. And he loves me. Just like Lucifer. But Lucifer didn't know his love. Until he met me. He didn't know God. And you didn't know God until you met Jesus. And I really didn't know God until I met Jesus. My perception of God was wrong too. I didn't see God until I saw Jesus. Jesus was my God. But he was just a man. Just like Kobe, just like Pac, just like Muhammad Ali, just like Trump, just like Hitler, just like Osama bin Laden. We may not understand these men of power, but they were gods to their people. And their people, all they wanted was this God to come in and free their people. Hitler was doing nothing more than trying to free his country and give them make his country great again. Osama bin Laden was trying to make his country great again. Saddam Hussein was trying to make his country great again. Napoleon was trying to make his country great again. Do you know what I mean? Pharaoh was trying to make his country great again for the gods. Trump has come to make our country great again. But in his rule, our country will fall like all of the others, like Kim Jong-un and all of them. He's just a long line. He's just ours, but he is a god to the people. He may not be our God, and we are nothing more than slaves to these people and their God. But we will be obedient slaves until our God comes to set us free. We will not rise up against these people or their God. For what happened when you rose up against Jesus and his God? Understand this. And whatever country you're in and whoever is your leader, he may not be your leader. And I see Achilles. He's not my king. I just fight. And many people don't know Jesus as God. You have your gods, and you shall not be denied your gods, and we will not persecute you, for that God is a form of God, for he is made in God's image, whoever he or she may be that you put on the highest mountain. But just make sure they're benevolent, God. And you can't really, looking at Trump and all of the people that are waiting for his arrival to make our country great. Our country will only be made great by persecuting others, by destroying, what was set in place by those that came before him, by, taking control over other lands and other resources and bringing it home to us by force. It's a great leader, and that's all they want. Agamemnon just wanted to rule the world. Henry VIII just wanted to rule the world. Trump just wants to, that's what they're here to do. They're here in power, and God has given them such power. And their people, they have their people too. Don't persecute their God, don't persecute their people. It's a hard place to be, to not pick a side. But that's what it means to be placed aside, to be put outside, to be put apart from the games. These are the Hunger Games. These are the end times, the end games. What role shall you play? Do you want to just be, the church, to catch those? That's all we really can do, is to bring them back by faith. And that goes back to the book. These are the tribulation times, the tribulation games. You missed the rapture, but yet they're coming to catch more, and that's what this is all about. They're coming to get more, lots more. They'll come to get more. And that's it. We all have to die to be judged. That's part of it. Unless you judge yourself and walk in the spirit here on earth. And that's where it can be done here. Where, you faced all judgment and all atonement here in your flesh. So you don't have to wait till you leave the flesh to do so and then come back and do it again. Yeah. Again, you weren't ready for this. But it's there. It's all there. And it's the times. And I didn't see it coming. It's only the second day of the new year. It's like, wow. All right. I guess this is what this year is going to look like, which we knew, and I'm just here to confirm it, and I'm here to show you who's in the energy and who's here to guide us. The dark is here. The dark leaders are here to get the dark people out and into the light. Many will fall to the darkness of what? Their minds and their desires for power and control, their desire for happiness. And that's it. Why were the soldiers killing people, innocent people? because they wanted their lands to be more. They'll take life for life. Isn't that our amendment, right? To bear arms, that we may take life in the protection of our own lives, that we may put our life above another. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I didn't plan on starting the day, and obviously I'm hungry, and I have plenty to do in this life, but there's more to come, and I'm just the messenger. I see the things you don't see. I know what's going on, even though we have no idea what's really going on. We know what's going on, we just don't know how it'll be played out. And so we sit and we wait to find out what we play. We wait for our ticket. We wait for them to recruit us. We wait for our position to play. And that's what it means, is to know how to play all positions, to not be limited to one place or time, because that place and time will be eliminated. You're only there to experience that level of suffering. You don't want to stay there. And if you were in a great place and time, it's only so you can teach others how to have greatness, right? To share the greatness with others. It's the way of the Melchizedek order. Yeah, lots going on. Lots going on. You talk to dead people? More than that. More than that. These are the ascending masters. But these are the new ones that have come to ascend. These are the masters that are here to help with the ascension at this time. Do your research. Laters, haters.